Hello there. It's been a while since I've released an episode. I was at camp here in Panama having a very fun time. I had a great experience there. It was pretty emotional. I just loved it. And I met lots of beautiful people. And I continue meeting beautiful people. Therefore, welcome back to Strawberry Ink. Today, we're looking into a recent case, a case that was recently trending. It is the one of Raul Valle, a story that starts at a house party and wins through courts, the community, and the grief of a family seeking justice. On May 14th, 2022, 16-year-old Raul Valle was at a house party in Shelton, Connecticut. He had already been to another gathering earlier that night. At this second party, tensions rose between them, from rival high schoolers to a crazy, drunk youth. And the night erupted into a violent brawl. During the chaos, Valle stabbed four individuals, one of them 17-year-old James McGrath, who was nicknamed Jimmy. He was a student and lacrosse player at Farfield Prep. McGrath suffered fatal stab wounds and was pronounced dead upon being rushed to the Bridgeport hospital. The three other victims were also taken to Bridgeport. They survived and were released from the hospital within days. 4 days later, in the early morning hours, Valle turned himself in at the Shelton police station. Detectives had been calling and leaving voicemails to his phone number, and partygoers had allegedly snitched and passed his number over to them. He spent that night at this police station, but was quickly taken to the Bridgeport Juvenile Matters Court, where he faced Judge Elpidio Vitali. This judge ordered that he remain detained, and given the severity of the charges, his case was transferred to district court, where the criminal trials of those over 18 are held. He was booked into the Bridgeport Correctional Center. Meanwhile, the McGrath family prepared to bury their son. Jimmy's services were held by Abriola Parkview Funeral Home. On May 19th, visitation took place at the Egan Chapel of St. Ignatius of Loyola at Farfield University. The following day, a funeral mass was held at the St. Teresa Church in Trumbull. Streets away, he was laid to rest privately at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery. Now, by looking at these pictures, I'm not surprised if this Jimmy kid was being rude to Raul, because I looked at that picture and what an asshole face he's got. I have flashbacks from people with that face being assholes to me. Them with their little sisters, being overprotective with them, being the typical whiteies, a typical white trash. Anyways, whatever happened, let's get back into the story. Assistant State Attorney Mark Durst was in charge of prosecuting. He formally charged Valle with 5 felonies: murder, first-degree manslaughter, 2 counts of first-degree assault, and second-degree assault. In district court, before Judge Sherry Murphy, Valle pleaded not guilty to all charges. His public defender, James Donovan, successfully argued for a $2 million bond. Donations helped cover it, and Valle was released days later from custody. Jury selection began on June 17, 2025, in the Ansonia Milford Judicial District Superior Court. 12 jurors and 2 alternates were sworn in. Opening statements came soon after, followed by witness testimony in late June. On July 9, 2025, the jury found Valle not guilty of murder, manslaughter, and the assault charges. However, when it came to the lesser included charges of reckless manslaughter and reckless assault, the jury could not agree on a verdict, but they did recommend these lesser charges. Judge Murphy, therefore, declared a mistrial on those counts. prosecutors have decided to retry Valle on these lesser charges. So for now, he remains free while awaiting his next trial. In May 2024, the McGrath family, represented by attorney Michael Rosnick, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Raul Valle. That civil case is still pending to this day. This case leaves us with unanswered questions and an open court calendar. The criminal retrial will determine whether Valle faces any convictions at all, while the civil lawsuit may run its own separate course. We'll keep following this story, and once the next part of the case is completed, I will make another episode. He may either take a plea bargain or go on to his second trial, which is currently being planned. Thank you for listening to Strawberry Inc. Stay tuned for our next story. Have a good rest of your day.